We had given up finding property. My husband was looking every day. He's a hunter. Even though we had a little bit of land with our house we were at, and we loved it, loved our neighborhood, loved our neighbors. I mean, we really did love it. He just didn't have space to hunt, which that didn't bother me. I'm not really a hunter. I like to go take pictures of them.
Right.
But I do like to eat deer, venison, and that sort of thing. So I was for it. And we really felt like God was putting barriers up, telling us it's just not the right time. It's not the right time. So we decided, truly sat down at the table and said, okay, we have made offers on 4 different properties, 2 of which were not even on the market yet, and offered more than what they were wanting, and just flat got turned down. I mean, I offered every ridiculous thing people were offering in 2020 and 21, and we couldn't make it work. So we decided we would remodel, do the things we wanted to do in our house we were in, and have a 10-year plan to stay there, have it paid off, enjoy our kids. We had an in-ground pool. We had a great home. And we remodeled for about 18 months while we lived there. Let me say that again, while we lived there. If anyone's ever done that, they will understand my smile for that. So the week we finished, I had not even hung mirrors in my bathroom. And our bathroom was one of the major remodels that we did. Cast iron antique bathtub I'd had in storage for 2 years. The tile I picked out, I was incredibly involved in the bathroom because that was my place. I had not even hung the mirrors yet. I had took 2 baths in my bathtub. And my husband calls me at work and he says, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm about 20 minutes from home, but I'm headed home." And he said, "Okay, I have something I need to show you. So you'll be here in 20 minutes? And I said, "Yes, I will hurry." And he said, one of the pieces of property that we wanted, and we actually got this one under contract, but it did not work out. He said, "Do you remember that property?" And I said, "Of course, it was beautiful." And he said, "Well, there's one up the road that went on the market today." And I rode out there and happened to run into the owner and have already toured it and looked at it. And they already have an offer. So we need to go look at it. And I said, "We just finished remodeling. Like, just finished. What are you?" And he said, No. It's the most beautiful piece of land I've ever seen. You have to come and see it." So I agreed, hung up the phone the whole drive home. I'm trying to tactfully figure out a way that I'm going to let him down easily. Not one time dreaming I would step foot on it and agree to it, because it was twice as much land and twice as much money as we had budgeted for land. And I said, "Okay, God, you got to help me with these words," because I knew in his voice that it was his dream. I could, your spouse, when you've been married to them long enough, when you answer the phone, you can know when something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you can know when they're excited. He was past excited. He was in his head putting up tree stands already. So get home, get there. He drives me straight out the property. We pull in. We're not 500 yards on the property. And I was almost in tears. I was like, we're getting ready to move. If we can make this work. But it's a big if. So to make it's not really a long story because it all happened in 7 days. But to skip a lot of the process, we made an offer that was the maximum of what we could do, which was still well below what he had it on the market for. Prepared my husband. I said, "He'll never take this. He will not take this. The other offer's probably better. Market's great. He could have 10 offers within a week probably because of the views and things," which I've posted a ton of pictures of. Called the agent. I said, "Look, I know you're going to advise him not to sign this. I would advise my seller not to sign this, but we love it, and we would like this to be our forever home." Next day, she called me at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and she said, "Okay, where do I send this contract?" And I said, "You mean the counter offer?" And she said, "Oh, no, he signed it exactly like you sent it, against my advice, and he wants you to be his neighbor." And I was in shock. Of course, my husband was cutting cartwheels at his business, I think, or at his job. And, it's kind of the old story. If God wants it to happen, you can't stop it.